Hi, hello. My name is Vanessa, and this is a friendly PSA for all of the freedom-loving, patriotic, conservative slash taxation is theft crowd slash we hate Marxism crowd. Are you listening to me? I could fill in the blanks, okay? There's a lot of you here, but in any case, this is a friendly PSA to remind all of you guys to not take the bait. Okay? Yeah, don't take the bait. And I know it's very tempting. I know it. I see it. It is very tempting to take the bait and fall into the trap. By the way, this isn't plugged into anything. It's just for aesthetic purposes. It's very tempting to fall into the trap and fall for the lie of so-called hate speech. Did you guys see that clip that came out of Pam Bondi talking about how we are going to go after those people who spew hate speech and that America, there's no place for such thing?
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
If you are familiar with any of my commentary, you know this is a question I have always asked the radical left when they complain about hate speech is who gets to define hate? And this is, yet again, the same question that I will ask you guys. Who gets to define hate? Your definition of hate might be convenient because right now people are saying some very hurtful things about Charlie Kirk. And listen, I get it. People closest to me that I've had to cut off are celebrating the murder of an innocent man. It is hateful. It is disgusting. It is deplorable. But again, even though it is convenient for my argument to label that as hate speech, you are entrusting this category to be defined by someone in a position of authority. And what happens when that person changes their mind? Or what happens when they move the goalpost and now they expand the definition of hate speech? Have you seen what's going on in the UK? You literally cannot post memes, funny pictures without getting arrested. They're arresting average, I think, 30 people a day for just trolling on the internet. What you said was hurtful. Who gets to define that? And by the way, you don't have to take my word for it, all right? Let's just look at what Charlie Kirk himself had to say on this very topic. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. Again, I understand tensions are high. You may feel it's justified, but I would really caution you to consider what happens when this administration is out of office and someone that you disagree with gets to play this whole hate speech game. Okay, it's going to be you they go after next. So I would really reconsider our approach when we start talking about this topic. Hate speech is a lie from the pits of hell. Okay? There is no such thing as hate speech. It is speech that you hate. Point blank, period. You can get mad at me if you want. That's totally fine. I prefer to look at the bigger picture. We are dealing with people who want to exploit fear and exploit our emotions. And just because the guy that you wanted to win presidency is in office does not mean that we are safe and we are exempt from the same communist tactics that we've been dealing with for God knows how long. The other thing that I've been seeing are talks of deporting people who are here on visas because they are basically dehumanizing an American citizen. And, you know, I am a believer that if you are visiting this country, you do not have the same rights of people in this country. Okay. So, and also I would argue that it would be in our best interest to know who has a disdain for American citizens because there are other cultures out there, Islam, that are trying to dominate the West. And so I would want to know if they actually do hate American citizens. And so if you want to hold that belief, go back to your own country. Okay, I'll put a trucker hat on if I need to. Now, let's talk about some other stuff, all right? Because I've had this question come up about cancel culture. As someone who is literally a product of cancel culture, literally, I would not be doing this type of commentary if it wasn't for me pissing off black leftists back in 2020 over a comment about The Little Mermaid. Yes, would you believe it? And that's why I am doing commentary, because when people say I'm not allowed to have a voice on something, I tend to get louder. And so people want to know what my take is on the fact that those who are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk are being fired from their job, and do I condone this form of cancel culture? Well, this is going to be an interesting video, so please buckle up. Sorry, I think, should I keep holding this? I mean, it's not plugged in. I don't know, I kind of like it. So first of all, let's be honest, okay? I'm going to take you through my argument step by step. Let's be honest. The cancel culture of the radical left is not comparable to the cancel culture of the right. It is not. Okay? When I got canceled for having an opinion about The Little Mermaid, a fictional fish. And these lunatics went after my sponsors and organized a campaign to ensure that I stopped doing content. They wanted me basically to not have a job anymore. I was self-employed and they thought that they could still go after me. Surprise, I'm still here. But it's not comparable, okay? They didn't like my opinion. They thought my opinion was hateful. There's that word again. Now, with people getting fired over posting them celebrating over Charlie Kirk's death, let's think about this for a second. Number one, no one is guaranteed employment, all right? I have never co-signed on the idea that the government should be involved in private businesses. A private business owner has the right to employ whomever they want, all right? And when you post something on the internet, if it can be traced back to you, whether you want it to or not, you are now perceived as a representative of that company. That's just how it is. Okay? Because what happens is you get a collective of people that see what you post, they get pissed off, they contact your employer, and now they're going to be missing out on profits. So whether you like it or not, from an HR perspective, once you put something on the internet, that is, you are a representative of that company. All right? And so with that in mind, that's not your company. You're not guaranteed employment. I have been fired for less, okay? I have been fired for literally minuscule things before, and you know what? It sucks, but you apply for a new job and you go elsewhere. If you don't like it, you become an entrepreneur and you set something up for yourself. So with that in mind, now, do I agree with JD Vance in particular, after he did a guest spot on Charlie Kirk's podcast? He ended the stream by basically encouraging Americans to go out and contact business employers to let them know that these employees are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk.
But I promise you that we will explore every option to bring real unity to our country and stop those who would kill their fellow Americans because they don't like what they say. But you have a role too. Civil society, Charlie understood this well, is not just something that flows from the government. It flows from each and every one of us. It flows from all of us. So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility.
And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm conflicted on that. Okay? Because even though I would consider myself to be a free speech absolutist, like many other free speech absolutists, we all have standards that we have to abide by. Otherwise, it's going to go off the rails. For example, you can't scream fire in a crowded theater if there is no fire. Okay? These are dangerous things that leads to harm. And we have to consider the consequences of when we say stuff like that. Likewise, I think it is my right to know that if I were to have a medical emergency and need to go to the hospital, that my surgeon or my doctor would do everything in their power to provide me with the best care possible and not look at me and consider, I think I know her from somewhere. Oh yeah, that's right. She's the chick on Instagram that posts all of those controversial videos and shared a lot of views that Charlie Kirk had. And as we all know, Charlie Kirk is a racist. So maybe she deserves to die. Okay? Because that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who forget the fact that they haven't done their own research and they can't watch a video past 30 seconds to get the full context of anything this man said, but they have already concluded that you are in the same camp of being a fascist and a bigot and a racist and a sexist and all the isms like Charlie. And so if they are celebrating his death, what makes you think they wouldn't dance on your grave? So again, I think people have the right to know whether or not they're doing business with a crazy person, okay? Especially if you're a parent, I would imagine you would want to know if your child's teacher is showing them the video of Charlie Kirk's murder and then telling the students that he deserved it. I'm sure you would want to know that, would you not? Or what about if you have elderly parents who are conservative? I would imagine you'd like to know if the nurse is actually gonna take care of them and not abuse them because of their political beliefs. Just to put some things in perspective here, I don't know how to respond to Vance encouraging people to go and contact these business owners because of my stance on private businesses. I think it would be more of a hard no if he tried to make a legislation surrounding this. But as of right now, this appears to be more of a suggestion. And it's still the business owners. It's at their discretion whether or not they want to fire a morally bankrupt employee. And then we can choose whether or not we want to shop at said business. But as far as someone who is in charge of saving someone's life, someone who is in charge of medical care, rehabilitation, psychology. Oh my goodness, you guys. Do you know the statistics of people who work in psychology, where they lean politically? It is scary. This is one of the reasons I stopped going to a psychologist when I was depressed. And then eventually, thank God, I found Christ in the process. But, there is a reason why a lot of people who go to these therapists end up crazier than when they went, okay? And so I would want to know if these people are looking at their clients and thinking to themselves, I wish you would die. Wouldn't you want to know that? I certainly would. So again, call me a hypocrite if you'd like, but I have my standards and I know you do too. As a Christian, I have the freedom to say whatever I want, but I also have to weigh the cost of what I say. And the same can be said about these people who are putting their whole face all over social media to gloat about the fact an innocent man was dying for exercising his First Amendment rights. And also, let me just add to that, this is not doxing, okay? This is not the same thing. Doxing is when you go out of your way to uncover private information that was not made public and then share it with the rest of the world. That is called doxing. When you put your whole face on the internet, on your LinkedIn profile, and people just connect the dots, that's not doxing, that's resharing information that you already made available, okay? Not the same thing. So if you are proud about celebrating the death of your fellow neighbor, say it with your whole chest. Do it. Say it with your whole chest. Don't put your account on private. Why? Oh my goodness, why? I don't understand. What could go wrong? Consequences. Consequences is what could go wrong.